and welcome to the October League. But before I start with the league today, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna do a sort of prequel and tell you guys what I've learned while playing Merfolk. The thing was a PPTQ modern weekend on Modo, and well, frankly, I haven't really been playing the deck that much, and I was I was losing faith in the deck, I would say. So I changed the deck a little bit from each tournament, and I didn't do that well. And then I run into this guy who playing these new cards. I was thinking about this card, Unsubsidized. It's a tongue twister, right? I can't pronounce it, but you get it here. And he plays Remand main deck as well. And I lost to him. And you know, well, you tend to learn something from losses, because I thought this card was garbage. And I wouldn't really play Remand in my main deck either. But I told him like this: oh, this is a coin flip of a matchup, and that's true. But he played it really well, and we played with his new cards. And a few days later, I noticed that he got 5-0 in this very same tournament. So obviously he was up to something. And I don't know, but sometimes it's hard to play the mirror. And this happened to be the same time as Nikachu released his video on how to play the mirror. And what happened was he has a lot of good suggestions. So if you haven't seen it, check it out, because it's good, alright. He knows his ins and outs of this mirror and in this deck in general, I would say. I doesn't always agree with his choices, but that is one of his best videos, I would say. Maybe I will put down the link below. Anyway, it's a shout out to Nikachu. This he's awesome. Anyway, this is the deck, and this is the deck I'm actually gonna play. I'm gonna change it a little bit. I'm gonna show you later in the dailies. But before that, I'm gonna show you a recap, because just a few days after I lost against Chicken at 93, I played a two-man, and well, karma had it. It come back to me, the Merfolk deck. And what happened? Well, I played with this guy's deck, and with a suggestion from Nikachu. So, well, to say the least, it went much better. And I want to show you guys that. I want to show you how it went. And if you don't like to see this is something different, because I'm gonna do a recap video. Because sometimes when you do the video, when you talk in the same time, it doesn't do as well. But if you do like it, well, please comment on it, and maybe I will do more of these kind of videos. And well, let's start. First, I have to say, this is also a shout out to. I'm a fan of this guy, Cameron Chandler. He does all of it. He's only playing like EDH, but he also does recap videos, and it's quite interesting because he can pause and comment more. Well, it works very well. So here here is the games I played against this Merfolk pilot, and I'm not gonna show all games. I'm just gonna show the second and the third, I think, because they are more interesting. And well, I don't give away how it went in the first game because then you will be able to tell. But so let's jump ahead. Let's go to the second game. You will see. And for my entertainment, I'm gonna play Hangover in the background, so the film. So if you hear some noises, you know where it comes from. And here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So, I get the shows first. And as you saw, I kept a two-lander with 2 wiles. And I maybe should tell you that I sideboarded in... oh well, let's go back and have a look. Here you go. I sideboarded in Gutshot. And I think I sideboarded out a few Spreading Seas. And Unsubstantiated me, I don't remember if I played it. I played 2 main deck. I don't remember if I played the third one though in the sideboard. And Gutshot is good. And well, I didn't change all that much actually. Just the Gutshots, and I think I removed 2 Remands and 2 Spreading Seas. And here, because I have the Sylveal, it's an obvious keep. As you can tell, I lost the first game. You will be able to tell that now, by now. And he starts with a while as well. And, well, a Drawn Master and a Minamo. So that's nothing to comment on. He kind of copies my opening lines here because he does all the same things as I do. I don't remember, did he? Did he mulligan? Yeah, he mulligans to 6 cards. Bobble man. But then again, he's on draw and the scry roll, so that's fairly even Steven. So I attack with Island Walk and this dude. Yeah, sorry. I tried to... Well, I wish I could go back here, but I tried to kill his Sylveal. I did a little mistake here though. I tried to kill his Sylveal in the end of his turn, and he wild in his Scourge Catcher, and well... So I should have done it my turn, and then he wouldn't be able to save his Sylveal, but anyway, a little bit difference. It's quite important who is the attacker here, because you want to have the upper hand. And it's quite interesting that it doesn't dare to attack here. And because you want to keep the momentum going, even though Harbinger is one of the best cards in this matchup, I can't really play it against the Sylveal because he will get value from that. And I can't really keep it in my hand, obviously, so I have to play it here. Without value. And this is looking quite good. Yeah, well, this wasn't an interesting game, but I won this game. I want to show you this game anyway. This is an interesting game, alright. So maybe you will take something out from this game instead. Here we go. He starts with a while again. This is like 3 games, and he starts with whiles every game. And I start with a while as well, so I can't be complaining too much. And have a great hand here. With lots of gas. This is the funny part. Now the funny part starts. Because he doesn't have any islands. He just has 2 Mutavaults. So it means he has to attack with his Mutavault. And, well, it went downhill from here, I'll tell you. Here is interesting. Because we have 2 cards here. That's the Lord of Atlantis and the Spreading Seas. And if you listen to Nikachu, you don't want to fix his mana. So I can't really play the Spreading Seas. So I have to play out all the 3 left cards here, the Harbinger, the Silver Vigil and the Master, before I actually play the Lord and the Spreading Seas. And keep the Lord until I can, well, kill him. And obviously, I start playing the Silver Vigil here. Well, and he knows what to do as well, because he has the gut shot. But what he don't have is a blue land. And that's going to be interesting. Here you see, he has the Lord. And, well, he has a little bit of an advantage here, because he has managed to advance his board. I'm going to stop there. And again, this game is really much about who can clean out their hand the fastest. So I have 6 cards and he has only 3 cards, and so he has been more successful with that so far, I would say. And I'm down to 13. That's why these bounces are very important here. And this is interesting as well, because he's moving it up to 3, and you know what he wants to play. He wants to play a Merfolk. You can see that zone here. But it also means that he still doesn't have any islands. So if I'm able to bounce one of these, he won't be able to replay them. For now, though, these 2 guys will have island walk. So I can't do much about them. So I'm down to 8 here. And here you can see, this was the 3rd game, and I took a long time to, well, to think out my line here. So I want you to go through this. This is like a magic puzzle. What will you guys do? I can't play the Spreading Seas. I can't play the Spreading Seas, but that will be fixing his mana, and he can still attack with the Mutavault. So that won't be very good. And I can play the Harbinger, but the thing is, do I want to bounce the Curse Catcher? Because I can play the Harbinger and then unsubstitute, but I don't want to win a lot of value from that. Well, I lose one creature. So, and I can't play the Lord. Um, yeah, think about this for a while. What would you do? I decided that it's important to, well, to play the Harbinger and the unsubstitute. And because you have to play two, because you want to get through Kira's shield here. But then again, if I get through Kira's shield, he will just be able to replay the Kira again. So what I had to do is to credibly represent a master here, because I'll have to attack with this guy. Because if I don't attack with him, he won't attack with his master. Because that's the guy I want to, well, because I don't want him to have island walk, and I want to bounce that guy. So I decide to keep my unsubstitute in the hand and don't do anything here, because he's the attacker. And to kind of encourage him to attack, I attack with my master. And you see how it will turn out here. It took a while for me to figure out this line though. Oh. But because I can't play my Lord, because that will kill me, and I can't really play Spreading Seas because that will fix his mana. So I only have these two to work with, and yeah. I think this was a funny game. A little bit because I caught him by surprise here. So he keeps his Vial on 3. That means he doesn't have a Master Waves. But it also means that I can't really bounce Kira, because he's just going to replay it. And here it looks bleak, I tell you that much. Even though he doesn't have any blue mana, I have to somehow figure out a way to come back from this. I'm only at 8 life. And here comes the cavalry. This is it's not lethal, but yeah, I told you the line already. Just to play unsubstitute first, and then bounce the master, so it will be able to block these two guys. So I will, because they lose their island walk. And the thing is, he can't replay the master as well. And that's an important thing, because he doesn't have an island. But that means I can't be. I'm not able to. I shouldn't be fixing his mana as well. But this is looking dangerous indeed. Here comes the bounce and the Kira protection. And the block. I will eat his Curse Catcher and we will trade with Mutavaults. But I have to do that, because otherwise I will very low on life and he will go down 1 mana, so only has 1 mana. And you have to remember, I bounce his Lord. I really want to play my Spreading Seas now, because that's the only card I only can play. And I can't take a chance here, because he hasn't played in islands before. And if he play a land, he can attack with his Mutavault. So that means, but that also means that if he play a land, he's going to play his Lord. So I draw another Mutavault. The thing is, he's still at 16, so that's a lot of life. That's a lot of life. And he has, well, 3 attackers. Still only 1 land though, but I'm not out of this yet, even though I traded like a few creatures. So, here, the thing you have to remember is that life matters, and he doesn't want to trade here. If you want to trade, that's okay for me, but I represent an Idlewild, so I don't think he wants to trade here. And maybe it was a mistake not to play the Spreading Seas on his Mutavault. But then again, if I play the Spreading Seas and he plays the Master, and then he has 5 damage, it's I don't want to fix his mana. Maybe I'll listen too much to Nikachu. And he plays the Idlewild. So that means he's going to be able to play his Master in 2 turns. This is interesting. He doesn't even attack. Because, I don't know, why didn't he attack with the Kira? That's interesting. Why he didn't attack with the Merfolk, I understand, but that also means he doesn't have any 3-drop, obviously, because he would have played him earlier. Now I'm starting to, well, draw ahead of him here. So, I managed to creep my way into this game. And as I still told you, once I draw the Idlewild, I thought I might as well play the Spreading Seas. He hasn't been drawing any land so far, so why not? Why not? And I can also attack for lethal here. And maybe it's a mistake to attack with a Master. But I'm willing to trade my Master with either of these creatures actually. You see, if I didn't trade it here, I think I would have lost. And you see, I'm still not out of this because he has 1 Lord, and that's, well, I'm only at 6 lives here, so. But now he has 3, so I managed to creep my way into this. And he finally draws the land, and he wants to untap his island. He has something up his sleeve here. And he still doesn't attack. That's 2 free Kira attacks that he should have done, so I don't know what he's afraid of here, but that's really important when you play the Merfolk mirror, that you try to squeeze in the while you can, but obviously you have to manage the situation, because sometimes you have to be on defense and sometimes you be on offense, but the Kira though doesn't really block that well, and I think he should attack with him. It's a flyer, it's a free attack. and now he's on 3 life. And this is another question that come up in Nikoshu's episode about the mirror. Because the Lord, you don't really want to give your opponent the advantage from playing the Lord. So I'm only going to play the Lord when I know I'm going to be the one to take advantage from it. And now I am, but I kept the Lord in my hand because I was such a low life, and obviously if I played him before, he will be able to take advantage of him. So I now maybe that was a mistake, but now I have so many cards, so it doesn't matter. But oh, this was the game actually. I hope you enjoyed it, even though I understand that could be funnier to see a real live game. But this game actually opened up my eyes that well, this deck is good, and I have my faith in this deck actually. And this is a lot of this is a big difference from Nikoshu's decks. Oh, well, not a big difference, but this is a difference. And the thing I like with it is that they're going back to basic. He's playing with 2 Kiras, and he playing with 19 lands, and he playing with 14 islands. Why does he play with 14 islands? I tell you, because Remand and Associate, and because he wants to be able to play these cards. That's why you play 14 islands. And I don't think 19 lands is that bad. I think it's good. But except from that, this is also a deck that's very much geared towards the modern, to the Magic Online metagame, because you're playing with 4 Hawker's Recall and 4 Gutshot. And I want to try out these cards, but I love this deck because I used to play with 2 Kiras and well, 4 other spells. But the thing with Unsubstitute is that it's unsummon, but it's also a remand. So it's like playing with 4 remands, and these spells has been very good to me because they are very flexible Unsubstitute. And at first I was very skeptical about this card, but then I looked at the sideboard. And if you see the sideboard, you have 2 dispel and you have 2 spell pairs. One of the reasons I was critical about this card is that it costs 2. I would like my spells to be like Vapor Snag and spell pairs to cost 1. Because there's so many cards in the deck that normally cost 2. So it competes for the same mana. Or for the same turn, I would say. But it felt really good, because these cards aren't flexible enough to warrant a main deck, the spell especially. Maybe Spell Pierce, maybe Vapor Snag, but I feel these cards are better. But after sideboard, you know what you're up against, so you can sideboard out your remands if you don't like it. And I really like this configuration. But this deck is also very much, I would say, as I said before, geared towards the MTGO metagame. So the Gutshas, they're very good against Infect, they're very good against Affinity, and all these fast decks. But I made a few changes. If I just want to win on the MTGO line, I think I would play the same, but since I have a real metagame, ERL, in real life, I play with Titanic. And why do I play with Titanic? Well, I would recommend you to look at Nick Ketcher's latest video, and he explains that Titanic is very good versus Valakut, Scapeshift, and well, mid-range decks like these control decks like Grixis Control. I don't play with that just because that he says it, but I think I was also playing a game against a Yand opponent, and I felt my deck was lacking something, so I'm gonna play with these, and I swapped one gut shot for one dismember, and yeah, I still play with 3 Hercules Recall because still we play on MTGO, and I think a lot of affinity decks will be out there. Yeah, I hope you like the deck, and I hope you like this unconventional deck tech. And follow me in the league when I play live. But I think it's important that you understand why I play this configuration and how I will how I adapt to the meta. I mean, you have to take into a lot of considerations, but you have to be open-minded, just not stubborn enough. And I think that's what this guy does. He really adapted. So, see you in the first round.